Hey guys, welcome back to another Tiburon video. What we're going to be doing today is repairing the wide body kit that we got for the Hyundai Tiburon. If you're new to the channel and have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to watch a few of my previous videos where I acquired the wide body kit for the Hyundai Tiburon via a parts car that I bought and resold. Behind me I have the front bumper, rear bumper, and side skirt set up on sawhorses, and we're going to go ahead and make sure everything is nice and secured and repaired before we paint everything and install it on the car. Let's go ahead and take a look at the materials that we're going to be using. So we have some resin. This is what we're going to be using for the fiberglass. Then we also have the actual fiberglass itself. We have Bondo. In order to use that Bondo, we have hardener. To spread the Bondo, we have a few spreaders here. These typically come in a 3-pack. And then once all that is on there, we're going to be using things like sanding blocks or a sanding sponge. I have a few different grits here. I have 80, 180, and 320. And then to prep before we paint, you're going to need things like fine sandpaper. I prefer wet sandpaper. This is 2000 grit. I also have a few other grits as well. But here's a quick look at the setup. We are in the shed. We have some sawhorses. We have everything set up. And this is going to be, I think, the easiest method for me to get to everything. First thing I'm going to do is use painter's tape, and I'm going to tape the front side of the body kit where there's cracks, and that way we can get it nice and flush before we do our fiberglass repair. That's not what I wanted to happen. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start the fiberglass process. What I did was took the fiberglass mat and just cut a few sheets to a similar size to the cracks and things I have to repair. Just use something simple. You can use scissors or whatever. Now here we have our resin and our hardener. We have a brush and then something to mix it with. Go ahead and take a look at your resin can, and it will tell you mixing directions because the ratios need to be accurate in regards to resin and hardener. Let's go ahead and go over to the bodywork and get this process started. Okay, so as I said before, this is my first time doing this, and there was definitely a few mistakes I just made, so I want to let you guys know what I did. That way you don't make the same mistakes. So this flat spot here is still drying, but this came out really good. This was pretty easy just because it was a flat spot. Trying to get the hang of brushing. I mean, it kind of sounds stupid, but as I was brushing, it was moving the fiberglass. So rather than brushing, I think just kind of dabbing is probably the way to go. We'll see what that looks like when it dries. These spots under here were a little bit harder to get to just because it is such a small little area. So every time I tried to put resin in there, it kept moving the fiberglass. So what I'm going to do is I just did one coat to get it to sit in there. Then I'm going to do another coat after it dries so I can hit the things that I didn't get. Just wanted to wait because it kept moving as I was trying to brush. So we're going to go ahead and wait. But that was another mistake that I made. And then over here, we're going to see how this comes out. So I cut a piece of fiberglass, that way I could repair this corner. And again, I did the same thing. I stuck it where I wanted to, and I just wanted to get the fiberglass to sit in there. That way when I do my next coat, I'll actually hit the whole thing. And then after this dries, I can go ahead and take either a grinder or whatever, and I can cut where I want to shape out the side skirt. But yeah, it's a learning curve for sure, but at the end of the day, we can correct any mistakes with Bondo or more fiberglass or whatever we got to do. So let's see how it comes out when it dries. We'll do another coat. All right, now the fiberglass process is all done. It has been a few hours, so things are pretty much dry for the most part. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this tape off here so that we can look at the front side and start the Bondo process. So nothing's moving anymore, everything feels really good and sturdy. So as you can see, there are some pretty serious cracks that we have to fill in. So we have a backup on sawhorses. I'm gonna wipe it down a little bit, that way we have a clean surface to work with. So front bumper needs a lot of work. Rear bumper isn't too bad actually. There's just a few blemishes that I'd like to touch up, but really all in all the rear bumper is in pretty good shape. And then we have the side skirts. We're gonna fill in those mounting holes because they drilled in way too many, so we're gonna make sure that that's nice and sturdy for us to mount on our car. But the biggest amount of work here that we're gonna have to do is on this front bumper. So many blemishes, a lot of cracks. They did not do a good job taking care of this front bumper. So let's go ahead and fill these cracks in with some Bondo. Alright, so we have our Bondo here. We're just gonna throw it on some sort of plate. You can use cardboard or something, whatever you want to use. Flathead to get the Bondo glass open. Here we have hardener, and then of course we have our spreaders. So again, take a look at your directions on whatever it is that you're going to be using, because ratios need to be accurate as far as Bondo to hardener. That way you get the proper consistency and you don't ruin anything. Follow your directions. I think I used way too much hardener. That hardened really fast. Holy cow, look how quick that hardened. Alright, too much hardener, I guess. Wow, that ain't gonna work. Trial and error, I guess. Alright, well, take two. Okay, so I have now let the Bondo glass dry, and It's a pretty simple process, I guess. Once you get the hang of it, you got to get your ratios down. Actually, I started over here on this crack right here, and I put way too much hardener in it, and I had to work really, really quickly. And then that batch that I mixed up, I pretty much had to toss because I wasn't able to get to the next spot before it hardened on me. Again, this is my first time doing this, so I don't really know if I added too much. If I added too much, then I'm really gonna have quite a lot of sanding to do, and that's gonna be a pain. I was actually pretty happy with this corner here. Was pretty happy with this because I basically have to reshape the whole corner because it was completely broken off. So with a piece of fiberglass in there and some Bondo, it actually came out really good. So should be able to shape that nicely. But yeah, we're on to the sanding process. So actually what they recommend first is that you use a file to get most of the access off, like the ends and stuff. So I'll take a file first, then I'm gonna take a really hardy grit sandpaper, like an 80 grit, so that we can start sanding this down. All right, let's do it. Alright, so we're going to end the video here because I'm just sanding, and that's pretty boring for you guys to just watch me sanding over video. So what I'm going to do is finish that, and in a future video we're going to be prepping for paint. Also, we have some better news. For those that have watched all my Tiburon videos, you'll know that when I acquired the body kit, I was just missing the wide body over fenders. And guess what? They have finally arrived in this box right here. We're going to be unboxing the rest of the wide body kit. I finally got my hands on it. The amount of hoops that I had to jump through in order to acquire the rest of this kit is just unbelievable. So in a future video, we'll be going over what that process looked like and what's in this box. So stay tuned for that. And also, the weather has officially broke here in New York. All the snow is gone. All we're waiting for is the salt to get off the roads, which if you live in the Northeast or anywhere where there's snow, you know that it can be an absolute pain. That's all they do is dump salt at the first sign of any dusting of snow. So it might be a little while, we need some rain, but anyway, the snow is gone. Stay tuned for more content. We're back, the weather is warm, we are ready to drive and ready to get building once again now that it's springtime. So thank you for your patience, thank you for watching my videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.